Of be local, right? Be local, be seen, be heard, because publicity, what do you think it's going to do for you? Let me ask you, what do you think publicity does for you?
Bring in money.
Thank you, honey. Yes, money, honey. Yes. That's what hello. It's about bringing in leads and prospects and referrals, which is money, which is business, which is visibility, which is credibility, right? People need to know you and see you to have that trust elevated. And your message deserves to be out there, whether you're carpet cleaning, financial advising, whether you're doing promotional products. Guess what? It's all about people knowing your name, having that trust factor, and getting your message out there. So do you think that might be good for you to get your message out there? Yeah, good. I'm in the right room, yes? Because as far as I know, and I'm writing notes over here about what all of you do, because I want to address some of it. And I also want to go over some really good, basic, and fabulous things for you to do to get your name out there. Are we good? Good? All right, so part one is your message. Speaking your message, you all did a really good job on these, on the wonderful introductions, and I thought that was great. When you're being interviewed in media, the reality is you have to get to the problem, but not what you do. See, because we all get trained in here's what I do, here's what I do. I want you to start speaking in you language. What do the people out there need from you? So start using you language. I think you're going to find a real difference just even in such simple tweaks, right, that make a big difference for how people perceive you. Speak in you language. So can I just ask who's an expert in the room? Will you raise your hand, please?
Who's what?
Expert? Who's an expert in the room? I'm standing here until every hand is up. Come on. Yes, because you're all experts. The question is, in what? Right? In what? Now, I heard some of the things you're experts in, and that you solve. What do experts do? They solve what? Problems. Thank you. In the marketplace. And problems in the marketplace are about what people need. And so one of the things I always want you to get used to doing is talking to the people in the marketplace. When I wrote Guerrilla Publicity, which is right here and for sale, just saying, books are for sale, what I found out was that, like Entrepreneur Magazine, I interviewed the editor of Entrepreneur Magazine for Guerrilla Publicity. One of the things, by the way, would it be good to be an Entrepreneur Magazine? Yeah, because here's the thing. Sometimes you can go national and go local. Sometimes you can get local and go national, right? So the woman at Entrepreneur Magazine, the editor, she said to me to tell you that what she cared about was what solves problems for her readers. So guess what? You translate that to your local media. What's solving problems for their readers, their viewers, and their listeners, right? And I think that's really a key thing. Your message is what's key in communicating the problem today, and that's really where it starts. I want you to start with the problem today, dirty carpets and mold, right? Financial instability, and we don't know what to do next. Let me see, hang on, I gotta look at what else you do. Our electrical problems, right? And by the way, I love that part about she can flip on the switch and now she's got lights. You know, that's cool. I mean, for one holiday even. And that kind of convenience that you provide, beautiful photography. And what I want you to do is start flipping what you offer to solving problems for people in the marketplace. So, for instance, Denise, right? Life benefit insurance. So then you put your story of cancer. Now that is something that people are going to start listening to, because you're using, I like to call it, everything you've got. We'll get to that in just a moment, but first I want to focus you. If you're solving people's issues around what are you going to do when you get sick, I'll call it. I know it's bigger than that. Then you integrate the story of your personal story, and you know what? You've all got them. You've all got them. Whether it's something as dramatic as that or something different, like a business consultant I worked with who's a productivity expert, and she has a son who's autistic. So you know what we do? We talk about National Autism Month and then talk about her being a mom and what that's like, right? And that's an interesting story. So as experts, you are messengers, you solve problems, and then what do you have if you're an expert? What do you have opposite a problem? What do you give people? Solutions, exactly. So I tend to like 3. You give people 3 solutions, keep it really simple, and here's the big thing. Make it in 5-year-old language. Because people don't know your jargon. We don't care, to be honest, right? We don't want to know your jargon. I don't want to know how electricity works. I just want it to work. I don't even my financial stuff, just tell me how I can, be elevated. And I've worked with a lot with financial planners. One of the things I found out was that 67% of Americans were going to be broke by the time they reach 60. Isn't that right? Yeah, it might even be higher right now, actually. And we are living in a time of anxiety, stress. So many of your solutions could be something that gives people less stress, whether it's how to look great for their photos and show up well in business with products that demonstrate. By the way, I forgot to bring my kazoos, just saying. But, I have kazoos so you can blow your own horn. and that's my promotional product. How are you being memorable? And I think that that's important that we look at this, right? And so when you give solutions to people and you give 3, simple language, 5-year-old language, what happens is people can go, oh, I get that. Oh, I want to work with you because you are making things easy to understand. I'm bringing you close to 30 years of publicity experience. Do you notice how simple I'm making it? Okay, so the point is that what I know about people like you in business is that the more you're seen and heard, the more business you're going to do, period, end of story, And so, like Brandon, wait, who's Brandon? Hang on, please forgive me. Okay, Brandon, so by the way, great opening, and I love the story, yes. And then the truth is, being a financial advisor, and I know there's somebody else here, financial, thank you, right? So are we living in times where people need to have more of a handle on their money? Yes?
Of course. Yeah.
Yes, right. And so giving people solutions for how to do that and keeping it really simple, here's some things you can do right now to save more money and, frankly, make more money that you can live on later. They love that. Okay, Denise, we talked about that. But Denise, I want to point out something I love helping people do is find what's the story under the story. Like, yes, you do this, but then I have a unique strategy. And it's called use everything you've got. Use everything you've what? Come on. Got, exactly. So what do I mean by that? I mean your ethnicity, your religion. I mean your cancer story. Because you know what? You said ovarian cancer, right? So when is National Ovarian Cancer Month? And if you don't, that's okay. That's a great thing to find out now. How about Black History Month? So I have a woman, she's a communication specialist, and we're doing great stories in local business journals and about how to communicate effectively in business. And then when Black History Month comes along, because she is a Black woman, we change her story. You know what it is now? And well, not now, but in February. It is how to be a powerful Black woman in today's times and communicate effectively. That's a different story. Now, you know what that got her into? Black Enterprise Magazine, great business publication. It got her into Essence Magazine. It got her into urban podcasts and all kinds of places that she never would have gotten in being a business consultant. You see what I'm talking about? So you want to use everything you've got. That means your age. I have a gentleman who owns a mortgage insurance company, 64, and he's on his 3rd career. And so AARP, did you know AARP has a big magazine? It's called Modern Maturity. Did you know it's one of the best, well-read magazines in the United States? Do you know what he got in for? By the way, owning a, not here local, but a local mortgage company. He got in for his 3rd career, how to have a 3rd career. So I'm just wondering, where's your story in your story? A wonderful man that I worked with, Ryan, who I was speaking in Antioch, and that's where he lives. And Ryan came running up to me, Jill, I really want to work with you. I'm like, great, Ryan, what do you do? He says, I am an instructional designer. And to be honest, I had no idea what that was. And then Ryan told me. And I'm like, well, Ryan, that's boring. You're not going to get any publicity from that. Why don't you tell me your story? Now, okay, so remember, he's in Antioch, kind of local, right? He said, well, I got downsized from my corporate job. By the way, has anybody been a result of that? You can get downsized from corporate? Because it's usually a few in the room, yes. And he had just bought a big house in Antioch. His wife was pregnant with their third child on the way. Now, did I mention he had no job? He's now got a big mortgage and a pregnant wife, 2 kids. I'm like, Ryan, what'd you do? He said, I started my own company and online. Within 24 hours, he had 8 employees doing instructional design virtually. And it saved his business. And he said, Jill, what I know is that publicity is going to drive more leads and prospects to me, so I want publicity. And so we changed his story. And we created him into a virtual office warrior. Who knows what the acronym for virtual office warrior is? I'm going to make your brains work during lunch. What is it? V-O-W. V-O-W, what's it spell? Vow, thank you. Ryan took a vow never to work in an office again. That story got him the front page of the San Francisco Business Times. Do you think that might be good for your business? And do you know what the headline says? You too can take a vow never to work in an office again. That story got him into Entrepreneur Magazine. Do you think it might be good to get an Entrepreneur Magazine? Yes. That story got him to Mac Home Journal. Ryan laughed because he goes, Jill, I don't even own a Mac. And then using everything you've got, Ryan is Asian American. He doesn't speak a lot of Chinese, but he speaks some. We translated his article, put it into the Chinese Times, located here in the Bay Area, big publication, well read. Do you know that one article got Ryan a $7,000 client? Would that be good for your business? One article using everything he's got, exactly what I'm talking about. What could you do as you're thinking about this? What do you think maybe you could use everything you've got? I want you just to even jot some notes down, like what could you use that's obvious? Sometimes we don't see even what's obvious in us, right? And that could be so interesting and unusual. And to your nonprofit, let me just say, I have a gentleman in San Diego who is helping save foster children throughout Central America and reunite them with their families. Very beautiful work. Do you know what he got in the Washington Post, CNN, and all kinds of other places using my publicity system and talking about? Well, kids in cages at that time and policies that aren't humane. And that got him $100,000 in wonderful donations. $100,000. We could all use that, right? That's a good thing. So I really want you to understand the power of publicity to bring absolutely into your world what's needed. So where's my attorney in the room? Elise, right? Elise, what if? I love that. What if? Right? And so what I see for you and what I see for many of you is an article that you write that's just simple about 3 things they can do to, that can be carpet cleaning, have better electricity, or prevent fires. The what ifs of the world, the having financial literacy and a foundation, right? How to exit your business. Where's Patricia? Yes, thank you. How to exit your business, right? How to have the right life insurance and what's key and what's important. And I think that and Mental Health Awareness Month, by the way.
Me.
Yes. And my question to you is, what month facilitates a conversation about what you're talking about? In your case, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. In some of your cases, it might be Hispanic Heritage Month. In some of your cases, it might be Black History Month. In some of your cases, you see where I'm going, right? It's called Use Everything You've what? Got. And you will find so much more publicity for an opportunity to get out there in really simple ways. And that is what I'm talking about with the opportunity to put you to the front of the line and do it in a way that makes sense. Okay, so that's really important. I want to give you one more wonderful resource. Number 1, nationaldaycalendar.com is a great place to look to see what holidays are matching who you are and what you offer. And then I also want you to think about and do what I call an announcement strategy. Remember I told you I have systems? And in fact, my Media Mastery Intensive, we actually do the systems. So one of my systems is every 60 days, you're going to send out an announcement, and you're going to actually announce, well, something that happened that was amazing. It could be anything. It could be a new employee. Like, have you announced yourself yet as the director of the, well, not quite director, but.
It's not within my control, that's the problem.
Okay.
I've been announcing myself.
Yes, well, but I want it announced in the papers, right? If you've got a new employee, if you've got a new offering, if you've got a new, like I won a humanitarian award recently. You bet, we're putting that out there, and we're offering the opportunity to get connected. Does that make sense?
How do you announce it?
I want you to do it. I actually have a list, and please reach out to me for where to put it. Absolutely. And what I also have, and do we have time for some questions? Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So what I wanted to do is open the opportunity to ask some questions. Also to remind you, I have my books right here, and I'll sign them for you. I'm super excited. And please take a look at the 10 Commandments of Business and my Media Mastery Intensive, where we actually go through the systems and get it done right there. I gave you an outrageous opportunity and a no-brainer price, okay? So please take a look at that.
So
Yes.
the question is, I love the fact that we have tell everything about yourself or use everything you have, but what if you have so much?
Yes.
How do you filter what's the purpose, vomit information?
So be careful of, like, get narrow. On the other hand, we can combine. So part of that would be sometimes, like I'll do with somebody now, currently, and then past, previously. You don't have to put everything in once. The the everyday 60-day announcement I'm talking about, guess what? 6 times a year, you have an opportunity to announce something different. And by the way, my template, we actually go through this in the Publicity course, and guess what? There's a whole list of where to send it, and you're going to love it, one of which is the Chamber of Commerce. But I would tell you, leave out certain things, and then include it in the next announcement would be a great thing to do. Does that help you? Okay, great. What else can I help you with? Questions? I looked at you, but you might not have a question. Who's got a question? I got hopefully some answers. The point is about the message, and who's got a question? Is that a hand up, or just sort of making a fist and being excited? And speaking of being excited, publicity is all about energy. Go ahead, please.
So we actually use some of the tools that you talked about, the History Month and the women and the
Yes, good.
and the stories, because it's all about lived experiences.
Yes.
And we have a lot of stories connected to the month and stuff like today we do Black History Month and everything. But we're just putting it out on our social media channels.
No. Okay.
We're not sure how do we even get picked up by the publicity or the press. And
Yes.
when we reach out to press, they have a big charge for it.
No. That's called advertising. And by the way, social media, can I just tell you, is not publicity. Because it's kind of a one-hit wonder, to be honest. Publicity is a multiplication factor, a magnification factor, and really gets monetization factor. It helps you be seen and heard, and gets the magnifying glass on you. Part of what I suspect is going on is that, number one, you haven't oriented your message for media. You only social media, which is not publicity. It's great. You can use your message in social media. But why shouldn't you be interviewed? Listen, I was on Channel 2, Mornings on 2, Fox News for World Kindness Day. Why shouldn't you be in for mental health?
So that's the point that I'm missing. We don't know how to get into that funnel.
Right. Guess who does? Me. Me, and that's actually what I'll help you do, is really define it. My sense is your message might be off, and that we recreate that. And I like the fact that you have stories that go with the months of the year. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I think I'd love to talk to you.
Okay, sure. They'll be here for a moment.
Do you work with us personally, or
Say that again, I'm sorry.
one-on-one thing?
I do one-on-one, yes. That's a small group. Everything's on Zoom. Yeah, but it's let me just say, it's kind of like one-on-one, because it's small groups. Yeah. And then I also have media there that you're going to get to pitch, and if you don't want to pitch, you can just listen and learn a lot. So, yeah, that is what we're doing. Systems, get it done, no kidding. Yes, please.
How will you access the service industry, like the interior designing?
Well, guess what? So in interior design, took my media mastery intensive right there that you're being offered. She was scared. She never knew what to say. She felt like, in her words, this is her words, a deer in headlights. We went through the message. What I know about people with message is your confidence really increases a lot. And you're able to say, well, anything, anywhere. And so she showed up to meetings far more effective and actually told me later, closed a $2,000 client because at the meeting, because of what I taught her in publicity. Because she was clear on her message. And I think, honestly, a lot of people are missing that clarity. And it does make a big difference that you are clear on that. And then I would have somebody like you going into real estate editors and mastering that and talking about the message for how to sell a house through interior design. I had someone during COVID, an interior designer. We got her great press. You know what it was? How to set up your new home-based office. Remember that? We all had to do that. So that was a great story. So, there's different times where different stories are really good. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. So I am here for, please talk to me about any questions you have. And know that you're getting a bonus today, too, just because. I'm a chamber member, too. I understand. And it's just such a delight to be here with you and to connect to you. And I'm looking forward to supporting all of you who are going next. And let me just leave you with one thing that's important. Are you ready?
Yes.
Your message matters. Your message matters. Thank you, everyone.